Hello and welcome to the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Podcast. I'm your host, Christian Fischer, and today we have a treat for you. We don't have a guest today. Over the last 3 weeks, we had so many questions come in from the listeners. So my team took the top 10 question we will answer for you today. Hello and happy Monday. Again, my name is Christian Fischer. I'm your host for today. I'm really excited for you to listen in on our show. And today we want to answer the top 10 questions we gotten from our listeners over the last few weeks. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more of an insight of what we do here at the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. And hopefully you guys get to know a little bit more about me, your host, Christian Fischer. So with that, let's get into it. The first question is coming from Derek from Illinois. First off, Derek, thanks for listening in from Illinois. And your question is, what ignited your passion for the culinary arts and how did it all begin? Really, really good question, Derek. For me, what ignited my passion was my parents been in the food industry all their lives. And for me, I seen the impact food had on them, not just on them, on the people which came to our location. And then also for me, I'm a big believer that food is just the ultimate medium. Food breaks down barriers of racial background, economic backgrounds, because food for me is the single largest opportunity for you to connect people. For me, food is a way not just to get people together, also to share your background, your experiences with people. And food has this really cool thing, which allows you to kind of share who you are and what you're all about. If you like to cook and you make an amazing burger, that burger, if it's you and you can share you within your dish, there's nothing better for you than doing that. So Derek, how did it all start for me is being around the business. I grew up in a small town in Austria of 27 people. And like I said, been around food all my life. And for me, I never wanted to do anything else. I was at home with my parents, always mingling around with food because I found food just being the coolest thing ever. So that's for me how everything started. Question number 2 is coming from Mike from Florida. Mike, thanks for listening in from Florida. Your question is, what do you believe are some of the most common challenges that chefs and culinarians face in their career? And how do chefs overcome these hurdles? Wow, Mike. First off, thanks for listening. Second of all, this is a full show. I think the single biggest hurdle chefs have today that they think they can't do anything else. What do I mean by that? There's a lot of chefs out there which feel that they are stuck because they went to culinary school, spent $100,000 in an education that they can't do anything else. What I'm here and what the show is all about is we want to teach chefs that they have transferable skills elsewhere. So for me, biggest single challenge, Mike, is the chefs need to go outside and do something else and find somebody who can help them managing that. And how do they do it? By finding a mentor. For us, we started the Culinary Executive Mastermind as a foundation at COVID to help chefs build up on their career and their industry. It became this thing that we're now going for almost 4 years, teaching chefs, industry professionals, how to grow and become better. Because in order for your career and your circumstances to get better, you need to get better. So, Mike, that's what I see as the biggest hurdle and what chefs need to do to get overcome them. Question number 3 comes from Liz from Massachusetts. Liz, I love that. Pretty straightforward. What is your background? What is your story? So we spoke about something earlier. So I'm from a small town of 27 in Austria. I had the opportunity to be part of a 6-year apprenticeship program. Had my first restaurant at 19. Had the opportunity to come to the US, work in 17 different countries. Had the opportunity to make it to the top 1% of my industry. And Liz, I also had the opportunity to write 34 books. I have multiple businesses today, which focusing on all kinds of stuff, not just in the culinary space. But for me, that's how it all started. For me, I came to the US as I was 23 years old. And I also have a side story. The reason I came to the US was as I was back home in Austria, I got into a motorcycle accident. A guy ran a red light, took me out. I was in the hospital for a little bit over a month, severe injuries. And on my way home from the hospital, we got hit by a drunk driver straight on. I was back in the hospital 2 hours later, in coma for 10 days, hospital for 14 months. And for me, the reason we want to do this show is because I want chefs to have choices. And for me, at 18, I had to make the choice where the government came to me and said, Christian, look, you had all of these injuries. You're 56% handicapped. You need to retire. I didn't want to retire. And for me, I had to make that choice to do something else. And I couldn't work in my home country because it was really hard to find a job if you 56% handicapped. So I started my own restaurant, which started it all. So hopefully, Liz, that gives you a little bit of insight of who I am and how this all started. If you want to know more, please reach out to us. We're more than happy to set up some conversation with you. Our next question comes from Nicole from South Carolina. Nicole, thanks for listening in from South Carolina. You are asking, you have been involved in pioneering dining platforms. Can you tell us about an innovative dining concept or experience that you were part of? What makes it stand out? So really good question, Nicole. I was very lucky. I was able to create some really amazing dining concept for a multi-billion-dollar organization here in the US. But what I'm the most proud of is a purchasing company we created, a partner and I, where we met with 400 manufacturers. We negotiated 165,000 deviated items, and we take those savings and pass them on to solve up college campuses. So that they have the same unfair advantages as the big guys and can compete with them from a financial purchasing side. And the second thing I'm super proud of, besides creating those amazing dining concept, is a company I started with a friend of mine called Barista Robotics, where we have a fully automated coffee system, where we have a few franchises here in the US. We're also building a coffee shop for the Ericsson headquarters in Denmark. And we just have locations throughout the world. If you want to know more, reach out to us. We connect you with what we do. So for me, Nicole, those are the coolest thing I had the opportunity to be part of. Next question comes from Sam from British Columbia. First off, Sam, thanks for tuning in from British Columbia. Your question is, you mentioned blending passion and skill to ignite potential. By the way, that's a whole separate conversation. How do you strike a balance? And what advice do you give to aspiring culinary artists looking to do the same? So for me, Sam, that's a really good question. I think if I'm a young, inspiring culinary artist, what I would do is get a mentor. For me, I had the opportunity to have some really great, amazing people in my life. And we all need somebody who sees in us what we don't see in ourselves. And for me, you probably heard, I think it was Tony Robbins who said that success leaves clues. So having a mentor, having somebody who did or has what you want to have or did something you want to do is the single best way for you to make a leap. So you can do things on your own. So for me, for an example, I wrote 30 plus books, and we today have a program we call the Book Builder Blueprint, where we help chefs write a book in 8 weeks. And the reason we call it a blueprint is we want them to write multiple, not one or two. So for me, I had the opportunity to write all of these books. And through the process of writing it, I have some skills, some side tricks, some tools, some strategies we have learned for me to do it for myself. And now we're teaching others to do the same. So now if you partner with a mentor, they can do the same for you, Sam. They can do the same to help you take that learning curve. It could be multiple years to cut it down just a very short period of time. You can try to write a book like I did. My first book took me almost 9 years. Or you can partner with somebody like us, or you can partner with anybody for something else. But we teaching chefs how to write a book in 8 weeks. So hopefully that helps. I think that's what you should do as a new culinary artist. Next question comes from Manfred from Berlin, Germany. Manfred, thank you for tuning in from Germany. What do you hope your culinary legacy will be both in terms of your own achievements and the impact you have had on others in the industry? Wow, that's a big question. So for me, the reason we started all of this is because I want to ignite that fire within chefs that they can do something else outside of the food service industry, running a restaurant, whatever they do. I hope that I can build on some of their passions, skills, and talents they have to build maybe a side business or a whole new career. If you are amazing in something and we can help you discover this and how to refine it and build a business around it, how about if you make just working a few hours a week, $500, $1,000 a month? What impact would that have for you? Having an additional 500,000 or multiple thousand on your life, your family, and your career. You could have a nicer house, drive a nicer car, or put some money away for college. So for me, I want chefs to know that they have transferable skills they can leverage to build something totally different. So my legacy, besides all of that, is my personal goal is I want to have 1 million chefs write a book over the next 10 years for them to make a leap forward, being in front of the line, because I believe a book is the single best way for you to become an authority in your industry. Not just in your industry, in your skill, in your gift, or whatever you want to do, because a book, it makes you stand in front of the line. If you apply for a job and there's somebody with the same skills as you, but you have a book, who do you think they're going to choose? How about creating a book? I have one of our students wrote about how to live with type 2 diabetes. How about if you have that skill, that knowledge to teach somebody, a lifestyle, some recipes, and that will extend their life 5-10 years? How dare you not write that book? So for me, my legacy is I want chefs to get out of that shell and capitalize on what they're great at. So Manfred, really good question. I really appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in from Germany. Next question is from Stephen from Texas. What was a transformational achievement from one of your mentees? Really good question. We spoke about that program we have, the Book Builder Blueprint, where we teach people how to write a book in 8 weeks or less. One of our students came to us and said, hey, I always want to write a book. I've been working on it for multiple years. Can you show me the step-by-step process on how to do it? And so we worked with him. He didn't only write 1, 2, or 3 books. He wrote 4 books in 8 weeks. Not only did he become an authority in his area writing the books, he made multiple 6 figures in the process. So now for you, Stephen from Texas, what would multiple 6-figure income mean for you in your life? That means you could probably get out of the kitchen or build a restaurant or do something else. So for me, the reason we do all of that, because I learned in the School of Hard Knocks. And I don't want chefs to go through the same pain as I went through. It took me 25 years to get to where I am today with the seminars I went to, the books I wrote, the mentees I paid. I paid almost $500,000 in education to be here today. So Stephen, we want to pass those on to our student. And that student is our number 1 student because he's just starting. I had the opportunity to spend Monday with him down in Florida this week. And he said to me, hey, Christian, thanks for helping me write these books because I have 3 more in the pipeline. So Stephen, that's for me probably the single best success our students have. So with that, question number 8 is coming from Eric in Washington. Eric, first, thanks for tuning in from Washington. I love the straightforward question. Why did you start this show? Great question, Eric. So you probably heard some of it already. The reason we started this, we wanted to bring some really cool people, some really great guests I had the opportunity to get to know and partner with over the last few years. And I want you to have access to those people. These chefs, these former culinarians and restaurateurs do some amazing things. If you haven't listened to episode 1, what Jason is up to, it's amazing going from from a line worker to owning his own company. Or look on episode 2, where we had that conversation with Lawrence, who did home meal replacement before it was sexy. He had to create that system for himself and learn and do it, and he was highly successful at it. Now he runs a bronzing company. How cool is that? Totally amazing, amazing impact. We have some other amazing guests lined up for you. But the reason we started this show is really for chefs to get inspired and hopefully think a little bit more disruptive in what they do, not just for their career. How can they leave a legacy? How can they have a bigger impact, not just in their career and their jobs and their family and their communities, really in a global stage? And you can do anything. We have a program we call the Self-Discovery Blueprint. The coolest thing we had the opportunity to create. And we have a program we call the Choice Maker Masterclass, which we going to start on January 4th. If you're interested in sign up, we would love to have you part of the program. But there we teaching every day a new skill, which it took me years to learn and me years to develop. We teaching you a shortcut on doing that you can do what I did and without spending years learning it. So hopefully that gives you a good idea why we started the show. We just want to be the disruptor in the industry. We want to be the culinary cheerleaders in the industry and help chefs to be better today than they were yesterday. So thanks again for tuning in. Question number 9 comes from Mariah from Connecticut. Mariah, by the way, I'm also in Connecticut. Please respond on the bottom. Maybe we can connect. So Mariah is asking, while your expertise lie in the culinary world, how do you believe your mentoring and leadership principles can apply to other industries or professions? Mariah, amazing, amazing question. And so for me, it's really simple. We said it earlier, success leaves clues. And so for us, if you are successful in one thing, it doesn't matter. If you a great team builder, I have a good friend of mine, his name is Michael. Michael runs a very successful $15-16 million business. Michael is the best team builder I've ever seen. Mike's team not only looks out for him and for their clients, they go above and beyond providing amazing service. So for me, Michael, if he wouldn't be a chef and running a multiple restaurants, for me, he could be a speaker and teach people how to be amazing in building teams, because hands down, he's much better than I am. I learned a lot from him, and I am lucky today. I have an amazing team here working with me, and it's all because of the skills I learned from Michael. So over the years, we learned some skills, some techniques, some tools we want to bring to the industry for them to become better. I spoke earlier about the Choice Maker Blueprint, which is our 5-day challenge we're starting in January, where we're going to teach those skills I have learned over the years to be better. And because I learned in order for my circumstances, my life, my career, my business to be better, I needed to become better. So Mariah, if you could please, right on the bottom, we send you a link to sign up for our program. I would love for you to be part of it. It's 100% for free, not kind of free. It's 100% for free, where we're teaching you 5 days, every day, a new skill for you to build an amazing business, like one of our students building, hopefully, multiple 6-figure businesses on the side. And these skills, Mariah, it doesn't matter. If you're a great leader, it goes. If you're a great team builder, it goes. If I'm great with math, it goes. If I have a great work ethic, it works, and it spans across industries. We focusing on the culinary industry because I want chefs to get a fair shot on doing something else, because a lot of them feel like they can't do anything else. Our industry is not a healthy industry. I have a good friend of mine, an amazing chef. He's mid-50s. He can barely stand because he's been on his feet for 40 years. What is he going to do? So we want to teach chefs to have a second career or something else they can do on the side. So that's for us, Mariah, where I think some of those transferable skills lie. So thank you for that. And again, Mariah, I'm also in Connecticut. Please look us up. And question number 10 from us is the last question. That is coming from David from Rhode Island. And David is asking, can you explain how you help chefs and hospitality professionals achieve rapid growth and lasting impact? David, I think we just talked about that earlier. But for us, again, we have that 5-day masterclass coming up where we kind of go through what we call the self-discovery blueprint. It's one day. How do I find out what I'm good at? A lot of you guys know I have some skills. I have some passions. I want to share something with the world, but I just don't know how to start. That allows you to find that. The second, for us, and I'm actually looking at my notes, the second one is the mindset makeover blueprint, because this thing is holding you back. And for me, it took a very long time to realize that until I hired a mindset coach. Made all the difference. The next one is our motivation blueprint, because if I know what I'm good at, and I get my mindset right, all I need is to be motivated. So we have a really amazing tools and platform for us to do that. The next one is the power of choice. I made some choices which I'm not super proud of. There's some choices which allowed me to be here today, and hopefully I can share those amazing choices and promise that to you. And the last one on day 5 is how to navigate next steps. Because if you can do all of that, I can with a very strong certainty tell you, if you do what we teach you, you will have a whole different life a year from now than you do today. And the choice is really simple. The life you have today is because of the choices you made over the last few years. The weight and your body you have is because the choices you made over the years. The relationships you have is because of the choices you made. The career, the business, and that really comes down to simple choices and exercises. The life you have today is because of the choices you make. And for us, day 5 is really about that your life is the average of all the choices you made. Let us help you think a little bit different, because when you think different, you act different. When you act different, you have different results. And if you have different results, you have a whole different life. So David, thank you for tuning in from Rhode Island. And that's all the questions we had today. So my team gave me 10. They said, Christian, you got 20 minutes. I'm at 21 minutes. So I really appreciate you guys listening in today to the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur Show. If you haven't done so, please go to disruptivechef.club. There, we're going to send you all the newest episodes. We're going to keep you in the loop of some cool new events we have. You're the first one to know when a new episode is coming out. We also use that group as our focus group, as our test lab, to try some new tools, some new techniques we have learned, we will share with the group. So with that, I want to say thank you for listening in. My name is Christian Fischer. I'm the host of the Disruptive Chef Entrepreneur podcast. So keep it exciting, be the passion, be the difference you want to see in the world. We see you at the next episode. Thanks, everybody.